A homeless father slept in his car, so his daughter could become a doctor. Most emotional story ever. The car in the parking lot. Every night at exactly 11:30 p.m., an old blue car quietly entered the back parking lot behind a grocery store. The headlights turned off. The engine stopped, and inside the car sat a man named Daniel Harper. He was 42 years old, exhausted, hungry, and homeless. He slowly leaned his seat backward, pulled an old blanket over himself, and tried to sleep. Outside, cold winter wind shook the car softly. Rain tapped against the windows. Sometimes police cars passed nearby. Sometimes drunk strangers walked through the parking lot shouting at night. But Daniel never complained, because every single night, just 3 miles away, his daughter was sleeping safely in a warm motel room. And to Daniel, that was all that mattered. Nobody knew his secret, not the motel manager, not his co-workers, not even his daughter Lily, because every morning before sunrise, Daniel cleaned himself in a gas station bathroom, put on his work uniform, smiled at his daughter, and pretended life was normal, all while slowly destroying himself to protect her dream of becoming a doctor. Chapter 1. Before everything collapsed. Years earlier, Daniel's life looked completely different. He owned a small construction company in Ohio. Nothing huge, but enough. Enough to pay bills, enough to own a modest house, enough to take Lily for pancakes every Saturday morning. Lily was only 8 years old then, bright eyes, curly brown hair, always carrying books everywhere she went. Daniel's wife, Sarah, used to laugh and say, "That girl was born to become something special." And Daniel believed it too. Life was not perfect, but it was stable. Then everything changed. The economy crashed. Construction jobs disappeared. One by one, Daniel lost contracts, then trucks, then workers, then savings. Soon the bank took the house. Medical bills piled higher after Sarah became sick. Cancer aggressive fast. Daniel tried everything. Extra jobs, loans, selling furniture, selling his wedding ring, but it still wasn't enough. And one cold November morning, Sarah died holding Daniel's hand in a hospital room. Before closing her eyes, she whispered weakly, "Promise me Lily still gets her future." Daniel cried harder than he ever had before and made the promise, a promise that would cost him almost everything. Chapter 2. The Motel Room. After losing the house, Daniel and Lily moved into a tiny motel near the highway. The room smelled like old carpet and cigarettes. The walls were thin. The heater barely worked. But Daniel decorated the room anyway. Cheap fairy lights, a tiny second-hand desk for Lily to study, a small plastic flower near the window. He wanted it to feel like home. Even if it wasn't, Lily never complained, not once. But Daniel noticed things, how she stopped inviting friends over, how she quietly wore the same hoodie every week, how she pretended school lunch was too big so Daniel could eat half. One night, Lily asked softly, "Dad, are we poor?" Daniel forced a smile. "We're just in a tough chapter. Will it get better?" He looked at her carefully, then nodded. "Yes, because you're going to become a doctor someday." Lily smiled and believed him completely. That smile became Daniel's reason to survive. Chapter 3. The Secret Sacrifice. The motel rent kept rising. Daniel worked everywhere he could. Warehouse shifts, night cleaning jobs, loading trucks, washing dishes, anything. Still, money disappeared faster than he could earn it. Then one night, Daniel made a decision. A painful decision. He secretly stopped paying for his own motel space. Instead, he rented the room only for Lily. After she fell asleep each night, Daniel quietly walked outside, got into the old blue car, and drove to the grocery store parking lot. Every night, for almost 3 years, Lily never knew. She thought her father worked night shifts. Daniel wanted it that way, because children should not carry adult pain, even when adults are breaking apart inside. Chapter 4. The Freezing Night. One winter night, Temperatures dropped below freezing. Daniel wrapped himself in 2 jackets inside the car. His hands shook violently. He coughed constantly, but he still smiled while looking at a photo of Lily taped near the dashboard. In the photo, she held a school science trophy. First place. Underneath, she had written, "For Dad." Daniel whispered softly, "You're gonna make it, kiddo." Then suddenly, someone knocked on the window. Daniel panicked. Outside stood an elderly security guard named Mr. Jenkins. He looked concerned. "You sleeping out here again?" Daniel tried denying it. But Mr. Jenkins already knew. The old guard sighed deeply, then handed Daniel a hot coffee. No father should freeze to death trying to save his kid. Daniel's eyes filled with tears instantly. Sometimes kindness hurts the most, because struggling people are not used to receiving it. Chapter 5. Lily's Dream. At school, Lily worked harder than anyone. Straight A's, science club, volunteer work, late-night studying. She wanted to become a doctor because of her mother. She remembered the nurses who tried saving Sarah, the doctors who stayed late comforting families. And secretly, she wanted to save people so no little girl would lose her mom again. But school was not easy. Some students mocked her old clothes. Others laughed when she avoided expensive field trips. One afternoon, a girl whispered loudly, "She probably lives in a trailer park." Lily pretended not to hear. But that night she cried quietly in the motel bathroom. Daniel overheard everything, and it shattered him, because poverty doesn't just hurt financially, it hurts emotionally. It makes people feel invisible, small, ashamed. That night Daniel skipped dinner again, not because there wasn't enough food, but because he needed enough money to buy Lily new shoes for school. Chapter 6. The Teacher Who Noticed. Mrs. Alvarez, Lily's biology teacher, noticed something unusual. Lily often stayed late after school, not for socializing, for warmth. The classroom heater worked better than the motel heater. One evening, Mrs. Alvarez gently asked, "Everything okay at home?" Lily smiled nervously. "We're fine." But teachers who truly care can see pain hidden behind smiles. Weeks later, Mrs. Alvarez quietly started helping. Extra school meal vouchers, free tutoring opportunities, scholarship applications, and one anonymous winter coat mysteriously appeared in Lily's locker. Lily never knew who left it there, but Mrs. Alvarez did, because sometimes the people fighting the hardest battles need kindness delivered quietly, without embarrassment, without pity. Chapter 7. The Night Everything Almost Ended. Then came the worst night. Daniel had worked 19 hours straight. Exhausted beyond words, heavy rain poured outside. He parked behind the grocery store like usual, but sometime after midnight, Daniel collapsed inside the car. High fever, severe exhaustion, dangerously dehydrated. Mr. Jenkins found him unconscious during patrol. An ambulance arrived. At the hospital, doctors said Daniel had pushed his body too far for too long. He needed rest, proper food, real sleep. But Daniel's first words were not about himself. "Please don't tell my daughter." Even half conscious, he still protected Lily first. Chapter 8. The truth comes out. But secrets do not stay hidden forever. The next morning, Lily woke up alone in the motel room. Hours passed. No message, no father. Panic filled her chest. Then Mrs. Alvarez arrived gently and told her the truth. About the car, the parking lot, the freezing nights, everything. Lily stared silently, completely shocked. "No," her voice cracked. "No, my dad wouldn't." But deep inside, she suddenly remembered things. His tired eyes, his freezing hands, why he always looked exhausted in mornings, why he never ate much. The truth hit her like a wave, and Lily broke down crying harder than she ever had before. At the hospital, she saw her father sleeping weakly in bed. For the first time, she noticed how thin he had become, how tired he looked, how much pain he had hidden. Lily grabbed his hand and whispered through tears, "You were sleeping in the car for me?" Daniel slowly opened his eyes and smiled weakly. "You needed a room more than I did," Lily cried uncontrollably. "No, Dad, no." Daniel squeezed her hand gently. "I promised your mum you'd have a future." Chapter 9. The community learns the story. Mr. Jenkins quietly shared Daniel's story online. At first, only local people noticed. Then the story spread rapidly. A homeless father secretly sleeps in car so daughter can stay in school. America reacted emotionally. Parents cried reading it. Workers donated money. Former homeless families shared their own stories. The community exploded with support. People brought food, clothes, gift cards, offers for jobs. One local mechanic repaired Daniel's car for free. A restaurant owner promised free meals for 6 months, and the motel manager did something unexpected. He walked into Daniel's room carrying paperwork, then said softly, "You don't owe rent anymore." Daniel looked stunned. For how long, the manager smiled. For as long as your daughter needs, Daniel could not speak. Sometimes hope returns slowly, then all at once. Chapter 10. The Scholarship Letter. Months passed. Daniel recovered slowly, and Lily continued working harder than ever. Then one afternoon, a thick envelope arrived from Harvard Medical School's early scholarship program. Lily's hands trembled opening it. Daniel stood nearby silently. Then Lily gasped. Tears instantly filled her eyes. "Dad, what?" "I got it. Full scholarship, full tuition, housing, everything." Daniel covered his mouth and cried. Not small tears. Deep emotional tears from years of suffering, years of fear, years of sacrifice. Lily hugged him tightly. "We made it, Dad." But Daniel shook his head softly. "No, you made it." Chapter 11. The Most Powerful Speech. Years later, Lily Harper stood on a graduation stage wearing a doctor's white coat. Thousands watched proudly. But Lily searched only for one face, her father's, sitting quietly in the back row. Still humble, still emotional, still wearing the same old watch he had owned for years. When Lily gave her graduation speech, her voice trembled. "People keep asking how I became a doctor." The room became silent. "They think the answer is intelligence or hard work." She looked directly at Daniel. But the real answer, tears filled her eyes, is a father who slept in a freezing car so I could sleep safely and keep chasing my dream. The audience immediately began crying. Even professors wiped tears away. Lily continued, "My father taught me what love truly looks like. It looks like sacrifice. It looks like hunger. It looks like exhaustion. It looks like someone quietly suffering so another person can rise." Then Lily smiled softly. "And every patient I help for the rest of my life will be because of him." The audience stood in thunderous applause. Daniel cried silently in his chair, because after years of feeling invisible, someone finally saw everything he had done. Chapter 12. The Final Surprise. After graduation, Lily drove Daniel somewhere without telling him why. Finally, they stopped in front of a small, beautiful house. White walls, blue shutters, tiny front garden. Daniel looked confused. "What is this?" Lily smiled through tears. "Home." Daniel froze completely. "I bought it for you." He shook his head instantly. No, that money is for your future." "You are my future, Dad." Daniel broke down crying. Real uncontrollable tears, because for years he only focused on survival. He never imagined someone would someday save him too. Lily hugged him tightly. "No more sleeping in cars. No more hiding pain. You carried me all those years. Now it's my turn to carry you." Ding. The parking lot. Months later, Daniel drove past the old grocery store parking lot one final time. He stopped the car quietly, looked at the empty spaces, and remembered the freezing nights, the loneliness, the hunger, the fear, but also the hope, because suffering did not destroy them. It transformed them. As Daniel drove away, the sunrise slowly filled the sky with warm golden light. And for the first time in many years, he no longer felt homeless. Final heartwarming line. Some fathers do not wear suits, own mansions, or become famous. Sometimes the greatest fathers are simply tired men, sitting alone in cold cars at night, quietly sacrificing everything so their children can have a better tomorrow. If this story touched your heart today, please don't leave without subscribing to our channel. Every subscribe helps us continue sharing emotional stories about hope, sacrifice, kindness, and the people who quietly change the world. Come back again for another unforgettable story, because the next one might change your heart forever. Thanks.